apply to yourself and put your Twitch link. Make it easy for these people to get in. Okay, I have your stream up. I'm going to mute it. All right, so what, like 5 minutes we start or something?
Hello.
Oh, it's Kotaro.
Oh, you are still audible.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to, yes. This is my first interview, so things are going to get choppy. We're going to have some technical issues. Look forward to that. It's going to be an adventure. But welcome. This is Isaac Anzu's Late Night Love Line. It's a show that I'm trying to grow, kind of modeled on the old radio shows where you'd call in and get some love advice. Yeah, we've just been talking about relationships and finding love and all that sort of stuff. But tonight is my first interview. And I have an excellent guest. As you might have already heard, it's Kyoko Noir. So let's jump on in. Hello! You're visible now.
Hello, how do you do?
I'm doing great. Very excited / nervous. How are you?
I am also equally nervous.
Well, I will let you know that unless for some reason your immense popularity changes things, these streams are usually pretty quiet. So let's just have a conversation. We'll relax and
Okay.
get to know each other, or mostly get to know you. You're the guest here.
I don't think I'm popular enough to change those kind of things, but
You're not break the internet popular yet?
not yet.
Oh, well, that's
Work in
the dream.
progress.
Yeah, we'll get there. So, a lot lies. So let's start out with some general, do you have a self-introduction that you do?
Not really, but hi, I am Kyoko Noir. I am a Crow VTuber. I like to draw, do poetry, and play games very badly. Thank you for having me.
Bad games can also be art, in a sense.
I'm bad at games. I
Oh.
don't play bad games. I'm just bad at them.
That's a bit different. So, how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Bird brain, ka.
So, you focus more on the artistic side of things than the intellectual. I hear crows are pretty smart, though.
Crows are very smart. I am more of an outlier.
Oh, but
I'm more in the artistic side of things.
Yeah, you're very artistic. I've seen some of your art streams and also some of the art that subsequently gets posted on Twitter. Go check Kyoko out on Twitter if you aren't. What do you find is the art that interests you the most? Whether working on it or enjoying it and viewing it.
Let's see. So I think it depends on the medium. So when it comes to like poetry, that you can really convey some complex emotions and situations that I feel like you can't really do with prose because it's more of like an experience. So With prose, just saying it's like, this is how it is, it doesn't really get that across. Versus if you're able to do it in poetry. So that's one reason I really like poetry over normal prose. As for like drawing and actual like painting, art, stuff like that, I just think it's very fun and challenging. It's
True.
something I picked up as just to like make my own assets as a VTuber.
Makes sense.
And I've really just enjoyed it ever since.
Very cool. Are there any in your poetry or art, are there any ideas that you really like exploring or themes you keep coming back to?
Nature for sure.
Mm.
I just find nature very easy to write about. And
It certainly is big.
yes. And
There's
being a bird, I am very one with nature.
You got a bird's eye view of it.
Exactly.
Cool. That's interesting. So, do you enjoy being out in nature?
Absolutely not.
No.
I prefer to see nature from the inside.
You're the glass pane observatory window.
Yes, yeah. I will observe it. I don't like being in it.
Do you watch other birds? Do you bird watch?
I don't go out of my way to bird watch, but like I will, if I see some birds, I will stop and like watch them for a moment.
Oh. A more chance encounter.
Yeah, exactly. It's more, if the opportunity arises, I will do it, but I don't seek it.
Do you consider yourself to be a more impulsive person then?
Not exactly. It's more like I will have a routine and things can deviate here and there, but for the most part, it stays fairly clockwork.
So more of a, stick to the plan, but don't forget to smell the roses.
Exactly. Like go touch grass once in a while.
Go touch grass. Good advice. So, you tend to stay on a schedule.
Yes.
What does your average day look like?
Okay. So, usually wake up 7 a.m. regardless of if I work that day or not, just because my body is conditioned to wake up at 7 a.m.
Completely
Early
understand.
bird catches the worm.
Yep.
And
okay. Yes. Understood. Got it.
from there, I get myself ready for the day, do all the necessary things, clean my feathers, type stuff. And then I will either go out to work and do that for a very long time. And then usually come home, and if I'm not streaming once I get home, I will probably be drawing something on the side whilst I watch other people stream. And for like days off though,
Yeah.
that's a real question mark. That I tend to use those as like very versatile days out of my week, where it's a very mixed bag of stuff that can get done between doing chores, collabs, visiting people. Like it's really open.
Kind of an extra errand day.
Yeah. That's the errands day.
Cool. So if you were to, go on dates with people, you have this kind of free day.
Yes.
We have to steer this somehow towards, relationships and love.
So like Fridays and Saturdays are my free days. Those are the days that I try to keep open, and I save them for doing whatever collab events, dates, whatever might crop up.
Very cool. So as a VTuber, I'm sure you do plenty of collabs. What's your favorite thing to do on a collab?
So I haven't actually gotten to do a whole lot of them yet because I've only started streaming relatively recently. It's almost been about 2 months now. Um, I would say, for me, I've had the most fun with my poetry events. Just getting all of my friends together and everyone just sharing lovely poetry.
I did watch the poetry reading you did recently, and it was very cool. Lots of variety.
Yeah, like everyone brings something that touches them dearly and something they're passionate about. And I feel like that really reflects when they do read it. And a lot of originals as well, which I absolutely adore. And I hope more people would try it sometime.
Yeah, and I particularly am thinking of the poem where I can't remember what her name was, but she wrote the poem about feeling unsure about writing poetry, and then over the course of the poem,
that was her. She goes by Super Jinxie,
Super
and she called
Jinxie.
her poem "Not a Poet."
Go check that out on Kyoko's channel. The VOD is still up.
Yeah,
So,
that was her first attempt at writing a poem.
wow, pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's like what she comes up with. It's just like, this is a masterpiece. Holy crap.
Some people got the spark in them.
Yeah, they just need to take the leap of faith and try it.
Have you taken any big leaps of faith in your life?
Absolutely. I have been in a long distance relationship, and I flew out to go see them.
Oh wow.
This was across the country. I'm an American Crow, by the way.
Yes. Good to know.
So, flew across the country just to see this person.
And boy, your wings must have been tired.
They were exceptionally tired. We are not migratory birds, so it was quite the trek. But that was one of my biggest adventures from the nest.
Wow. And did the leap of faith? Well, we won't discuss current relationship stuff. But did the trip turn out all right? Did the leap of faith pay off?
It was a great trip. It was a great trip.
Fantastic. So, on collabs, you enjoy kind of sharing ideas and doing art together. What sort of dates do you think you would enjoy?
So I guess it depends more on how long I've known the person.
Makes sense.
Because if there's someone that I'm relatively comfortable with already, someone that I might have been friends with prior, then doing something that doesn't involve talking is totally up and available, like going to the movies or something.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's someone you don't exactly know, then you should be talking to them instead and trying to find common interests and see if things might work out.
I absolutely
agree. So in that
agree.
case, you might want to consider more of like a walk in a park or something.
That's a very good one.
Rather than going to a movie or dinner, because you can't exactly talk with your mouth full of food, and if you do, that's kind of gross.
Or I was actually thinking a poetry reading, but probably a poetry reading would be just as distracting as a movie in terms of getting to know people.
The proper etiquette at a poetry night, you're not supposed to really talk during it, and I don't think that'd be a great place for a first date with a new person.
Makes sense. But you could go to a park.
Watching even. You could go bird watching.
Go bird watching in a park.
Exactly. Something that you can do easily, that doesn't require much mental strain, so that way you can actually focus on what the other person is saying.
Makes sense. So if someone was walking through a park, watching the birds, with you. What sort of topics of conversation do you enjoy? What's something you could talk about for hours?
For me personally, it's a bit harder because I tend to be more the listener type.
Hmm.
But some things I am passionate about, definitely things like mental health and self-care.
Very good things to be passionate about.
And more things that's just like food or just really interesting games. I don't tend to watch much media, so that would be kind of hard if that's like all they did was watch like TV and stuff. I'd be like, I have no idea about any of it.
Makes sense.
I have no input.
Well, yeah, if it's kind of like for me, sports, you know, I recognize that sports is a form of entertainment, but it is not one that I pursue or enjoy
Yeah, they
watching.
sure kicked that ball well.
They sure do. It's hard to keep an equal conversation going, you know.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're listening and enjoying the other person's passion for it, then you know, you can still have a good time.
Yeah, usually I would like to just ask them, it's like, hey, what do you do for fun? And let them kind of like go off and just be like, all right, this guy is cool, or this person's completely cracked, get me out of here. Like, have them kind of spill the beans.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's perfectly understandable to want to, you know, get to know someone on a first date.
Yeah.
I think so. I did a late night love line a while back where I walked through like the steps of dating, and the very first one is just establishing interest, right? Just because you're on the date and you've already like you know, started talking to each other doesn't necessarily mean that your interests in each other are going to align or continue to align. So
Yeah.
it's good
But
to
in
get
the same
get to know
vein, you
people.
also want to find someone that doesn't have all of the same interests, because then you can actually introduce each other to stuff that you're passionate about.
Very true.
Yeah.
Is there something that you are not personally involved in, but you like hearing about it, or you would like to hear someone talk about it and get into it? A topic that maybe you've always been fascinated by but never actually ventured into.
Let me think for a second.
Sure.
That's a bit of a hard question. Because I tend to be the type of person that's just like, I will try just about anything. So
Open to suggestions.
yeah, it's just like a lot of things I have already tried, so I kind of already have an idea if I'm gonna like it or not. But I guess there are some things I know that I won't like.
Tell me
So,
some of those.
Like if you're like, hey, you want to go play golf? I'm just be like, that sounds completely boring. No, I'm not gonna go play golf. Mini golf, like, you get a maybe out of me on that one. But even then, it's like probably still a no, because I hate that stupid game. I'm sorry.
Not a fan
Not
of
for
golf.
me.
I think
I
mini
don't-
golf is all right, but okay, fair enough.
I can't get the ball in the hole. It's just, it doesn't work. It just keeps going along the sides. And I'm just like, I give up.
So if you don't like mini golf, do you like those sort of like carnival games sort of things? Like if you went to a state fair or something like that, would
I actually really like those. I know they're kind of like rigged against you for the most part, but it's more like how people buy lottery tickets. It's like you kind of know you're not gonna win, but you have that little brief imagination. It's like, I could win.
I'm here, I'm gonna spend money
that's
anyway.
like the fun. That's the fun of it.
Whereas in golf, it's more like I didn't win and it's my fault and I'm terrible at this.
Yeah, golf, it's more like, how much do you suck?
Okay. No test of skill, only test of chance.
I mean, I know that golf is a skill-based game. I just don't have any.
Well, that's perfectly all right. You're talented in many other ways. So nobody is gonna judge you if your, intense dislike of golf is
Yeah, you don't judge a crow at how good it is at golf. You judge it how good it is at flying.
that's some life advice right there. But I have heard that kind of idea, right? Don't judge a fish by how well it can climb a tree, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just act in good faith, kind of. Judge people in good faith.
Yes, exactly.
Let's see. So, not into golf, into walks in the park. But here's the next question.
Okay.
If you had all the time and money in the world, is there any hobby that you or activity that you would want to get into? Like a dream hobby.
So there are a couple.
Okay.
So first is that I do like Magic the Gathering as a game. However, it is very prohibitively expensive. So if I had unlimited money, I would play the heck out of that game.
Speaking to my heart, we
I
should.
love Magic. It's so good.
Are you on Arena? We should connect.
No, I don't like playing digital.
Oh, I see.
I like to play in paper. I've been playing for like over 10 years now, so
nice.
it has to be in paper. That's the only way I can do it.
I will say, wherever they pack their cards, the smell of that place is just like instant huge nostalgia for me. I don't understand. It's just such a good the smell of a freshly opened pack of anything from
Very
Wizards of the
euphoric.
Coast. Yeah. Whether it's like the Magic cards or the D&D books, you crack open a D&D book, it's got that smell. Wherever they manufacture their stuff, it's just top.
I concur. So Magic for sure is one of those things that if I had unlimited money, I would spend it all on Magic. I would run out of money. Otherwise, this is a little weird, but I actually kind of really like race cars. I don't know why. Like, I just like chasing things. Like that's what it's boiled down to. Because I found out, like, I love zombie movies, I love racing, I love all those things. And it's like, what they all have in common is chasing something. There's something about chasing I enjoy.
Interesting. So would
I
you?
really like race cars.
Would you want to? I mean, if you had unlimited money, you could just sponsor as many race cars as you wanted, I suppose.
I would just buy the few that I really want.
Yeah. Would you want to drive them? I
would drive them.
Okay. Go fast.
Yes, go fast. Like, what's the point of getting a race car if you don't go fast?
Makes sense. I mean, that's what they're for.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, do you watch any car racing stuff? Formula One, NASCAR? Anything like
I
that?
try to watch. Though I just don't really have a whole lot of time on my hands.
That's fair.
But
That's
I
fair.
do try to watch it from time to time.
Do you?
I don't have like favorites or anything. I just
Yeah.
enjoy the experience.
You don't keep up with like who's winning. Just
No, not really. I don't really care about like the overall point championship stuff. Like, I just purely based on a race to race in that moment. Yes.
pick a number, see how they do.
Kind of. Or pick Mercedes because they just always win anyway.
I'm guessing that's a joke that I don't understand, but nice.
I mean, that's just factual. They win disgusting amounts.
Yeah, I've noticed that
And they also
the
tend to be black too.
oh, nice. Uh, matches your color palette.
Yes, exactly.
I've noticed that the Formula One subreddit has been very popular these days, and I'm guessing
Yes.
it's because there's some, you know, fandom or drama building there. Uh, but that's cool. Yeah, Mercedes, very very cool. Um, chasing things. So
Yeah,
also into
that's all I can
zombie
really
movies.
boil it down to. Like, I watched, I think, every zombie movie that exists,
Wow, any
and it's
favorites?
purely because it's just like they chase stuff. And I'm just like, yo, I like this. I watched like every racing movie that basically exists. I played a lot of racing games. It's just what I do.
Um, do you enjoy Dead by Daylight?
I used to. I was an original player of that game.
Oh wow.
Like back when there were like there were very few options as for your killers and what your perks were.
Hmm. I have to imagine it was harder to get a lobby of people as well back in the early days of any multiplayer game
It
are rough.
Those early days, let me tell you, they're real rough. And not just because of like trying to find people. The game was just not ready.
Any examples? Any fun moments or
Oh,
stories?
yes. So back in the day, me and my friends, we called it Lobby Simulator because you couldn't actually get into a game. The lobbies get bugged after 3 seconds of searching for a match. They wouldn't actually search. They would just stay there for infinite amount of time. You had to actually stop searching and research.
Oh wow.
So you would just be sitting next to this campfire, and like that was the game.
Lobby
Like this was
Simulator.
the game, and sometimes you get the
Indeed.
mini game of where you actually got to play a game.
It's just
Also, there was no survive with friends either, so you just got to play by yourself.
just a brief campfire with strangers.
Yeah, essentially.
You know, that wouldn't be I mean, like group Omegle essentially, but that would be interesting. Campfire simulator.
I mean, that's what it was. It was just a lobby simulator. You just got to sit in a lobby, and that was it. Like, there were no games.
So, do you have any favorite zombie movies?
So I'm a really big fan of the original Resident Evil because I like old school zombies where they only like walk generally, and it's more of this overwhelming force rather than like running or like the mutations. Like, I'm not really a fan of those, but they do have good running ones like Dawn of the Dead or Train to Busan. That's a really good one.
Train to Busan.
I believe that is a Korean film.
Train to Busan. Oh yes, I've heard of this. Okay. I didn't realize it was a zombie movie.
It is a really good one.
Cool. Do you watch a lot of foreign films or media?
I'm not too big into media. Like, if it's not zombies or racing, I'm probably not gonna watch it.
Fair enough. Train to Busan just happens to be a really good zombie movie.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Like, I'll just like start searching and be like, have any new zombie movies cropped up?
Mm.
And I'll just watch them.
Have you ever so you enjoy horror movies. Have you ever watched a horror movie that really like unsettled you, shook you, or actually like got you, scared you?
So most of them were when I was a child and I should not have been watching them.
Makes sense.
Mama Crow and Papa Crow, they didn't really care. And they're like, yeah, you're like 8. That's plenty old enough to watch like the original Halloween.
Oh gosh, that's some nightmares right there.
Or like The Ring, and just it was fine, you know.
I don't want to
Don't
watch
lie.
any more VHS tapes, Mom and Dad.
Oh, so the thing that was the worst about those two specifically was that let's start with The Ring. So back in the day, I feel old. Back when caller ID was not a thing, but cell phones were relatively new.
I
We
remember
finished
that
watching
period.
it.
Yeah.
And Papa Crow, he went to the bathroom and he took his cell phone with him.
Oh no.
He called the house phone. And all of us looked at it and we're like, nah,
Nope, not happening.
no, miss me with that. That's not the end of the antics, though. So for the Halloween movie, my Papa Crow liked to dress up as Michael Myers for Halloween.
Oh no.
So we had this outfit lying around. So we were, finishing up the movie, and he was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Recurring theme here, by the way, guys. So he goes, changes into it, and comes to our door and starts banging on it. And we see him, and we noped the heck out of there.
Oh
So
man.
yeah, that might be why I've been traumatized by horror movies as a child.
And yet, you enjoy horror movies now.
Yes.
Do you try to like find movies that capture that sort of like feeling of terror, or do you more like watch and laugh at the people being terrified?
I don't know. I feel like I'm fairly neutral when it comes to watching them.
More just enjoying the experience.
So, I realized what it is. And okay, don't laugh at me. All right, don't clown me for this.
I'm not clowning.
All right, it's because the killer chases the survivors.
It's all about the chase.
I just realized that is why I like horror movies so much. Oh God. It all comes back to that.
So let me make a hypothesis here.
Yeah.
Would it be more intriguing to you if someone who was romantically interested in you was doing the pursuing, was making the
Absolutely.
first moves?
Absolutely. I don't make the first move. Mostly because I'm really, really shy. So that's hard for me. So like they just have to do it for me.
What's something that someone could do, in a random, maybe passerby situation that would instantly grab your attention? That would be like, oh, this person's interested.
I mean, there's a high likelihood I just reject them outright based on anything that they say or do.
So,
like I'm the type of person that you have to befriend before I will like even look in your general direction.
makes sense. I've found that
so many creepy people,
Yeah. No, that's very true. And it's good to have a baseline of, I'm aware that this person is mentally and emotionally stable before you start considering them in a non-friend light.
Yeah, it's just I have to know them prior to thinking anything further.
Makes sense.
Like, I don't know, like the whole like Tinder stuff. I don't understand how people do it. It's like this just doesn't seem like a good recipe for success.
You're more interested in an
Like I want a
emotional.
friendship that will evolve into something more. I am so sorry. My phone is going off.
You're fine. More of an emotional, intellectual, spiritual sort of relationship than strictly I think Tinder
Just
is
like start with.
yeah. I think Tinder is more for people who are just looking for the physical side.
I mean, I know that some people have found their true love on Tinder, and props to them. I would never be able to do that. Like, because what you're doing is that you're judging people on such a small amount of info, incredibly small amount,
True.
and it's like a resume for relationships. I don't like that because you're not going to actually know them from looking at their profile for 15-30 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. I think that you could probably get enough information to see if you are interested in maybe, physical intimacy, but definitely not enough to know if they would be, a good friend.
Yeah. See, a lot of the people I've met them from doing a hobby.
I see.
And they also happen to be doing that hobby. And that is, you would eventually talk and they'd be like, hey, you're kind of cool. Would you like to talk more? And I'd be like, yes, I would like to talk more.
So if somebody if somebody is already kind of getting to know you and being friendly and nice, then them showing some further level of interest would be kind of the pursuit, the moment.
Right. That is like the recipe. It's at least be able to tell me like what my name is. And maybe say like two facts that you know about me. And if you can get to that, then it's like, okay, maybe you can start to consider asking for my phone number.
Wow. Viewers, congratulations. You're already there. So
and that's just like to just start to further the friendship. That's not like I'm going to consider you for a relationship. That's just like, okay, you're not just going to be, person A I know at Magic the Gathering. You're going to become, I don't know.
Jim.
You're going to become
the
Jim.
real the person that I actually remember and sometimes
you're
think
Jim.
about.
You're Jim. You play mono green Stompy because you're too much of a two-head to play anything else.
Well, we can't blame Jim for being a Timmy.
Yeah.
But is there so if you're advancing this kind of idea of you get to know someone and then you move into a legitimate friendship, is there a any like criteria then to moving into like a romantic friendship?
So I think at that point is when you have to start spitting some game. Like, because you're not going to get anywhere just by being friends. But you have to kind of like test the waters. Like if you send like a little flirty message here and there and like see how they respond and see if it's like, lukewarm or if like actually got their attention, then maybe something can happen.
Interesting. So you respond to you would want some sort of kind of verbal flirty teasy kind of indication of further interest.
I mean, that's the only real way to tell if there is interest, besides like just outright asking.
True. You can be very direct.
Because if they're just treating you like any other friend, then what makes you think you have any shot at all? If you send a flirty message and they're just like, oh ho ho, send one back, then it's just like, oh ho ho, lads, I'm in.
Lads, I'm in. We did it, boys. We got him. Interesting. So, in a relationship, do you find that verbal communication is important to kind of
Okay.
establishing the relationship and building the relationship?
So I will say this: communication is paramount. Everything is going to be based on communication. If you can't talk to your partner about things that are bothering you or things that you like about them, like anything at all, it's not going to work. You have to be able to talk to them. Like openly.
I agree with this. Now, it's I think that, you know, in people's lives there are many important things, and it's important to be very like honest and communicative about those things. But with romance, it can be a little bit trickier because while it is important, you're also trying to, you know, communicate in a way that's impactful to the other person. You're not just trying to state your intentions. You're trying to, you know, entice or persuade or support. And so do you find that there's a particular like way of communicating that speaks to you, or a preference in how you would want to be romantically approached?
It's one thing to just say words. It's another thing, though, to put words into act. And that is something that I look towards. Like, okay, so we're gonna go back to my one relationship I was talking about. It was long distance. And we were still kind of in the flirty stage. We weren't a couple yet.
Makes sense.
We were just kind of flirting back. And for their birthday, I sent them flowers because they said they never had flowers. I was just like, yo, this is gonna be easy. Like, easiest way to get their attention.
Easy birthday win.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna be so high up on the ratings with this. And it worked. It worked really, really well. But now this is the kicker. So Valentine's Day was coming around. And naturally, we're still kind of flirty. And we're both single. And it was just like, hey. And they're like, hey. And come Valentine's Day, I was completely alone. Like, no one at the house, just myself, snowy day. And I was like, you know, I think I'm gonna go order a pizza. And I told this to my long distance friend. So you know what they did?
What's that?
I will tell you. They called up a pizza place and they're like, hey, can you not only deliver this pizza to her, but can you also go to a flower store and pick up a bouquet of roses?
Oh, man.
And they're like, no, we're not doing that.
Oh.
And they were like, I will tip you this absurd amount of money. I'm not going to say how much, but it was a lot of money. Like, I will tip you this amount of money to go do that. Some of the money, pay for the flowers. The rest of it, you pocket. And they're like, all right, deal. So on that snowy evening, it's all by myself in a very cold, empty house. And this old man rings my doorbell and he hands me the pizza and the flowers. And he's like, wow, someone must really like you.
Aww.
And like that's kind of the moment I was like, all right, I'm gonna go fly out to this person.
So that's an adorable story.
Yeah, like that's action. That is action. You can do that regardless of how far apart you are.
True. true. There's some tips for all the internet dwellers out there in long distance relationships.
That too.
You do have to know the person's address though, which I think is prohibitive.
I mean, come on. Like, if things are going well, I think you can ask for a match.
That's fair. That's fair. So do you find that you've got like the pursuit and the pizza? Do you find that when someone kind of takes the time to do something for you, not just say nice things, but actually go out of their way to help you or support you in some way, is that more meaningful?
I mean, absolutely. Like I said, it's one thing to just say stuff, but it's one thing to actually go and do something. So it's one thing to just say to someone, it's like, oh, I love you. But imagine like someone writing a poem about how much they love you. Like that is just, that's so much more. That's so much more. It's so much more meaningful, and you'll remember it a lot more as well.
Very true. Very true.
Or you know, a song, or they make like a little jar, and it's filled with all the things they like about you, and they give you that jar, and it's just like, wow, that's just so much.
That's adorable. Has someone given you a jar full of things that they liked about you?
Yes.
Wow. That's awesome.
It was a vase, actually. It wasn't a jar, it's a vase.
A vase. Important distinction. You've got to put those flowers somewhere.
But yeah, it's things like that. You know, you can say it's like, oh, hey, you're really cool and all. But it's like one thing to be like, hey, let's actually go out and go to, you know, a tea shop or whatever, or go to a bookstore. We can actually go and do something.
Action.
Instead of just, action. Not just waiting for it to plop into your lap.
Now, so I've found that people generally have you heard of the concept of love languages?
Yes. There's what, 5 of them?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
okay.
people generally have a way that they prefer to be wooed. But then they also have excuse me, a way they prefer to approach people, to express their own romantic interests. So if you were to, and since you said that you're more about being approached, being pursued, if you were maybe in a relationship and you wanted to reciprocate some romantic or emotional feelings, what would you do for the other person?
I'm a big fan of quality time, honestly. It really depends on what their love languages are, and trying to accommodate to them, because that's what's going to mean the most to them.
That makes sense.
But in general, like quality time, I think everyone can agree to a degree that is like very important. So if I'm not sure, that's kind of where I would start.
And you schedule your life very much, so quality time probably has more meaning for you because, you know, it's penciled in. It's important. It's on the schedule.
Yeah, I have to take time out of my day for that exact reason.
Makes sense.
That's very special.
Very cool. So it sounds like kind of the ideal relationship for you would be someone who helps you out and you know, is proactive, thinks of ways to put some time in and express themselves through actions, and then in return, you know, you create time to spend with them, to do fun things, to hang out, talk, all those sort of things.
Right. So I think this is one thing I noticed in relationships as well, is that just because you're like in the relationship or you're even further along, you have to remember that you have to keep dating that person.
Mm,
Like, you can't get complacent. You have to still take them out to the movies, you know? You still have to like woo them.
make plans, do actions.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't have to be like all the time. It doesn't have to be every single day, but like you still have to do those things. You still have to take them out to dinner, you know?
mhm. You're looking for the long-term romance.
Right, right. I mean, crows are monogamous, so we tend to mate for life. So trying to find someone special that meets all the criteria, it can be a little difficult at times.
That's true. Do you find yourself hesitant to fully commit to someone before, you know, because you're looking for something specific and long term? Or
Mm,
do you try to experience people as much as possible to try to find, you know, the acquaintances who can become friends, who can become interests?
hmm. So I'm kind of dumb.
Mm.
Uh, so I kind of need them to like go out of their way and let me know that they actually like me. And then it's just like, oh, okay, I noticed you now. Now I'm gonna start thinking about it.
I see,
Uh,
I see. So
so
you've got other things on the schedule, you've got other things on your mind.
yeah, I'm a little booked, and I don't have time to be messing around with people that are being secretive. Like, kind of get to the point.
No games.
Um, I mean, like I said, like if you can send flirty messages, like that's fine and all. But
Mm,
ultimately, like someone's got to confess, essentially.
true.
And
And it's
it's
unlikely to
kind of
be
in those
you.
moments like I'm fairly open to trying things. I'm fairly open.
I see.
So I'd at least be willing to give them a shot.
Very cool. All right. Well, I think that that's a pretty good um, summary of all the things we talked about. You know, uh, being bird-brained, but liking to be chased and having lots of interests and trying different things and being flirty and all that good stuff. So I guess uh, I I'm still thinking about like I kind of want to do like a last question, right? Um,
Okay.
or I might also be
I
interested in
could just
like
try to like
those.
summarize my thoughts on the matter.
Sure. Why don't you tell me? Why don't you tell me like your love philosophy?
Okay. So, uh, communication is paramount. I think that is the thesis towards any relationship. So, starting with that, you have to be able to, firstly, talk to the person that you're actually interested in. You have to make it clear that you may have romantic feelings and see how they feel in return. Then, you have to be able to put your words into action and be able to express those feelings appropriately. And if things do not work out, you have to be able to tell them what things bother you. And if you cannot do those things are not going to work. The relationship will fall apart. You have to be able to communicate.
Openness, honesty, flirtiness, communication.
That's yeah, you have to show that you're still interested. You have to be able to trust them. You have to be open. Like you're opening yourself up to being hurt in the process. And that is a big fear for a lot of people. But
Mm.
by keeping yourself closed off, you're not gonna get those real connections.
True. It's always a balance. Opening yourself up versus
Yeah.
protecting that inner self.
So you just have to take things slow,
Take the leap.
trust them, and see how things go. And if they are not able to communicate, well, that's just them being a little too immature, and they're just not ready for that type of relationship.
That's a pretty good metric if you're looking for that sort of long-term serious relationship. If somebody's not yet able to honestly communicate, then probably not ready for that sort of relationship.
Yeah, and I mean that can be you as well. Like you do still have to focus on yourself and make sure you are the best individual that you can be. Like someone that people would want to date. Like if you have no hobbies, you have no interests, why would anyone want to be with you?
Very true.
Like you have to have a lot of money.
or a rockin' bod.
That's
KK all the way. Welcome. Hello, friendos.
But yes, that's. Oh, thank you.
Yes. So this is Kyoko Noir. We've spent the last hour talking about interests, love, life, everything, anything. And I think that this is a really good spot to wrap it up. So I want to thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
This was very interesting and a lot of fun. And I hope you had a good time.
I did. Yes, thank you for having me. I hope that I could share a little information on how to relationship.
That's the real goal. We're always looking for more perspectives, more philosophies, more advice about how to chase that ever elusive beast known as love.
Yeah.
But for now, we'll part. And again, thank you so much for coming. Thank you, everyone who's watching. We'll be back next week, probably with not an interview because this is. I'm gonna have to review this stream and make sure all the technical stuff is okay. This took more preparation than I usually do.
Yeah, like we were trying to get this set up for like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah. But I'm glad it worked out, and I really appreciate you being here. You're the very first, and it means the world that you'd choose to come spend time with little old me.
Yeah, it's no problem at all. It's no problem. Thank you for having me.
Well, and with that, let's close the stream. So, do you have anything you want to say? Obviously, everyone should go check out Kyoko's art, Twitter, Twitch, all that sort of stuff. But any other things you want to say to wrap things up?
Yes, absolutely. Everyone, drink some water. It's very important. It keeps you nice and healthy. Drink some water. Take care of yourself. It's the weekend. We're gonna get some stuff done.
Water not needed. Oh, you're in a hostile place here. We're both into water. Water is great.
Corceo refuses to drink water.
I see.
I'm gonna waterboard him.
Okay, well, let's stop here. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
On that note,
my name's Isaac Anzu. Please don't waterboard your friends. And this has been Isaac Anzu's Late Night Love Line. We'll be back next week with more relationship talk, and I hope everyone has a great weekend.
take care.
Bye.